What's good, everybody? The UFC is finally on at a reasonable time for us Spanish casuals, man. I'm hype. Prelims start around 10 a.m. and the main card starts around 1 p.m. over here. Finally gonna be able to watch the UFC without genuinely falling asleep, bro. You guys joke about, like, the women's fights, like, when WMMA is on, you guys are like, yeah, I'm gonna go take a piss break, I'm gonna go get a beer, this and that. Bro, I was genuinely using those fights to take a nap. Those were like precious 20-25 minutes that I was using to recoup energy so I could actually be awake for the next fights. It's been rough, man. 5 a.m., 6 a.m. fight card ending. It's crazy, all right? Today, we're going to go over who wins and who gets brutally slammed out for this UFC Perth card. Super underrated card. If you know ball, you know this card's going to be actually fire, all right? Let's get right into it with the first fight. Don Marfan versus Cody Steele. Oh my lord. I actually fuck with Don Marfan because I watched him, like his debut in the UFC. I think it was the finale to Road to the UFC. I watched this fight and I actually picked him to lose, but he looked good. Low-key a robbery decision that he got, but whatever. They're very fresh, very virgin fighters, both of these guys. They both fought once on a real UFC card. Steele lost to Rongzhu, and Don Marfan, he won the decision, even though, you know, it wasn't really the best, most clear decision ever, but whatever. I liked what I saw from Don Marfan, and honestly, Rongzhu is a bad loss to have on your record. So Cody Steele, my brother, you lost to Rongzhu. I'm not really sure about that, alright? Give me Street Buddha by decision. Don Marfan, he's got the home field advantage too, you know. He's Australian, even though he doesn't really look Australian. Whatever that means, alright? Next fight. Jonathan Micallef versus Themba Gorimbo. This is low-key an easy pick to make because I consider Themba Gorimbo a step down from Micallef. His last fight, he fought Elliott, who was younger than Gorimbo, had 3 wins in the UFC, and he'd only lost like some questionable decisions. In my opinion, Micallef was losing that fight, alright, against the Welsh fighter. I think it was, what's his name? Something like Elliott. I think he was Welsh, alright? He was losing that fight against that fighter, pulled off the sub. But yeah, I just see this fight going way better for Jonathan Micallef than his last fight. Could see him, you know, maybe getting a sub, maybe getting a decision in this fight. It's just Gorimbo, he's just not that good, alright? Yes, he has some power, middleweight division. You don't really need to be that good to make it this far, but you know what it is, right? Jonathan Micallef by decision, home field advantage. If you're watching an Australia card, 8 times out of 10, if you pick all the Australians to win, you're probably going to go positive on your picks. Just on that alone. I remember the Dominic Reyes versus fucking Carlos Ulberg card. Tragic main event. You know, Carlos Ulberg, the Kiwi, got it done. But I just picked all the Australians. I didn't even know who half the guys were. And yeah, I got almost all my picks right. Pretty nasty stuff, alright? Next. Wes Schultz versus Ben Johnston. As you can see, Ben Johnston over here has a who is bro, because literally who is this man? I couldn't find no info of him anywhere on the internet, basically. I saw some shit from him on Eternal MMA, like this was actually crazy. The only tape I watched was from him in Eternal. No existence on the UFC website. I don't know if this is like a fucking short notice replacement or what, but Jesus Christ, man. The only existence I found of him was, again, the Eternal MMA and his topology. Now, let's talk about the fight. Wes Schultz, he has struggled a lot at the top level. He has more professional experience than Ben, but, you know, he's lost more. He has more experience, but he's also lost more. We've seen his deficiencies more. He has lost to Mansour Abdul Malik, which is not a bad loss to have, honestly, because he's not that bad. He just recently lost to, what's his name? Belguri, I think, if I'm not tripping. Anyway, Wes Schultz has a really funky striking style, and I think it's going to get him really badly hurt against Ben Johnston. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this fight because it's a who versus who matchup, but give me Ben Johnston by KO late, like probably like the 3rd round. Because Wes Schultz is durable, but he has a really sloppy style, and I think Ben Johnston's going to catch him. Do I think Ben Johnston's going to do anything in the UFC? No, absolutely not. This guy's like 35, alright? Get him out of here, get him a couple fights, and let Unk retire, alright? Next fight. Colby Thicknesse versus Vince Morales. Now, if you guys watch the NBA, which for whatever reason there's a lot of crossover between NBA and the UFC, you'll know that this fight for Colby Thicknesse is like Joel Embiid getting his MVP award. I know for a fucking fact the matchmakers in the UFC were stressing in that matchmaking room, genuinely trying to get this guy a win somehow. Like, oh, we gotta put Colby on the fucking Australia, on the Perth card. You know, he's training partner with Volk, this and that. How do we get him a win? Like, this is the fight they look like. How do we get Colby Thicknesse a win? Vince Morales. Jesus Christ. Just give Colby the guy that's 16-10, 3 losses in the UFC. Like, Colby Thicknesse better win this fucking fight by decision or I'm gonna crash out. This guy, again, 16-10 record. My brother. Double-digit wins, double-digit losses is crazy work, unless you're Charles Oliveira, alright? Please, Colby Thicknesse, lock in. Next fight. Now, I know, guys. I know you Gerald Meerschaert fans are going to be mad at me. You Sharters, you know, the Gerald Meerschaert fans. I think they're called Sharters. I think that's very commonplace in the community. I don't think the Sharting community, I don't think we're getting a win on this one, guys. I genuinely don't think we're getting past Big Malkoun. He's too old, Gerald is. He's not dangerous enough on the feet, which is where this fight's going to take place. Could he pull off a weird-ass submission? Yes, absolutely. But Malkoun is a big fat fucker with big power in his hands. I think it's going to be really hard to hold down. And again, he's 5'9", fighting in the middleweight division. This guy has, like, little person anger. If you guys know any short people in your life, shout out my grandma. You know, like, the shorter they get, it's like all their anger gets compressed and shut out at, like, terminal velocity. So, yeah, man, I don't think Gerald Meerschaert's making it out alive against Malkoun. Now, pause. If you're a betting man, if you bet money on the UFC regularly and you don't mind throwing away your kid's college inheritance or whatever, put your money on Gerald Meerschaert. This is the fight that Gerald Meerschaert just wins somehow. He's like 47 years old at this point. This is the fight that he wins for absolutely no reason. Just trust, all right? However, I have to pick Jacob. We don't pick flukes on this channel. I'm picking Malkoun by finish. I'm picking Malkoun by, like, late TKO, all right? Next fight. Junior Tafa versus Kevin Christians. Oh my god, I am not watching tape on this fuck-ass fight. I have made a pledge to myself, to my honor, to my family name. I will never, ever pick Junior Tafa or any of the fucking Tafas under any circumstance. My brother in Christ. Yes, fucking Kevin Christian is a jobber. Yes, he's lost his first fight in the UFC. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm not picking this fucker Tafa. He's genuinely 6-5. How are you 6-5, bro? You're almost even in wins and in losses, for fuck's sake. Like, how has this even happened? 6-5 in the UFC is the craziest case of nepotism I've ever seen in my fucking life. Give me Christian by decision and let me move on before I pop up a fucking blood vessel looking at these fat fuckers on my screen, alright? Next fight. Settling. Cam Rowston versus Robert Bryczek. I don't know how to say his name, but this guy's winning, alright? Guys, I am spiritually Polish. Shout out to the girl I met in Korea. You know who you are? You don't know who you are. You've made me Polish, alright? I didn't even like you like that. I think you're probably lesbian, but I fuck with this random girl. She was very nice. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but she was great. Great friend. We met in Korea. Shout out to her. I am spiritually Polish, alright? I'm just watching this guy, Robert Bryczek, knock out Brad Tavares in Paris with all my homies. You know, it was a card that was at our time. It was like prime time for us. That was just a spiritual experience. This guy has some great hands, beautiful striking, beautiful combinations. And if you know the UFC, you know motherfuckers, especially Australian motherfuckers. No, I'm sure. Yeah. Shout out to Volk. You know, guys don't know how to defend the good boxing. Like, if someone has good boxing, aka Elliott, aka fucking Kevin Vallejos, like, people are gonna get clipped. You saw what happened to Josh Emmett, and the same shit's gonna happen to fucking Cam Rowston, alright? The thing is, like, you know, Cam Rowston does probably have better cardio, does have, like, better grappling, but I think Robert Bryczek is gonna be his second fight in the UFC. He's gonna be much better paced, and he's gonna knock Cam Rowston out. I think it's gonna be like second round, because first round is usually like the feel it out process. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a quiet night in Australia when this happens. Yes, Rowston could blob Bryczek, but I just don't see that happening. I just don't like the Australian crowd, you know. I don't think any of the Australians are gonna do any blobbing tonight, alright? Now, watch JDM blob Carlos Prates or some shit. Next fight, Tuivasa versus Louie Sutherland. Oh, Lord. This is a heavy-ass Google slide, bruh. If you take this slide alone from my Google Drive, it's probably like 10 gigabytes. We have two beach whales, Big Mac Tuivasa, and Louie the Vanilla Milkshake Gorilla Sutherland. Just close your eyes, alright? Let's go on a ride together. Close your eyes for just a second. You just imagine you're a poor little McDonald's worker. You're working you're flipping the fucking patties, you're putting the fries in the bag. You look at the entrance of your McDonald's, ding ding, doors open, and who comes in? Two of these big fat motherfuckers on mobility scooters just jiggling towards you. Going 2 kilometers an hour on the mobility scooter, just jiggling, all right? Diets, bro. Okay. Diets and nutritionists, they genuinely have to be sitting around campfires just telling scary stories of these two guys. Bro, just like, yes, you watching job applications sit around the campfire, tell scary stories about you. Bro, dietitians, nutritionists, they be telling scary stories about Tuivasa and fucking Louie Sutherland, alright? Anyway, like I said, I'm never picking any of the Tafa brothers, and that includes Tuivasa. He's not a Tafa brother, but he's spiritually Tafa. Like, look at this fucking guy. 14-9, lost 5 of his fights, if not more, in the UFC. I will never, ever pick any of the Tafa brothers or Tuivasa ever again on this channel. Alright? Never. I will never pick them. Tuivasa will lose to Sutherland by sloppy decision. Next fight. Oh, Lord. Another heavy-ass slide. Jesus Christ. Everything I said about the last slide applies to these fat fuckers too, alright? Especially to Shamil, Gaziev. I think Shamil only, like, beats, like, if we're being honest, we look back at his career, he only beats the blobbiest of blobs. And I think for Mr., unfortunately for Mr. Meal, the Balkan Bear is just a bit too elite. If you can use that word about the heavyweight division right now, alright? There's Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gahn, fucking Curtis Blades, and then there's, like, the Pericics of the world. There's the fucking Delijas, the Waldo Cortez Acostas. That's where we throw these guys, alright? I think we're going to see a sad little KO, like round 2, where Shamil's going to, like, get jiggled down. Like, he's going to get knocked out and jiggled onto the canvas. Probably going to cause, like, a minor earthquake or some shit in Italy. Yeah, man. Give me Pericic by round 2 KO, alright? Next, Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg. Banger fight. This is a really good featured fight to a fight night. Like, bro, look at this shit. This shit's elite. Like, checking topology had me tripping. Like, how the fuck is Tim Elliott 4-1 in his last 5? I thought he was way more washed. Ended up, like, submitting a bunch of guys to gear. Submitted Kai Sakura. Like, this guy's actually doing good. On the other hand, Steve Erceg, he looks like he's getting cooked, but he's actually fighting the best of the best, bro. I think his last win was, like, Ode Osborne or some shit. But he's genuinely fighting, like, crazy guys. He's been fighting fucking, who's he been fighting? Pantoja, Moreno, back before he was, like, super washed. He fought fucking somebody else that fluked him. Oh, yeah, Kaikara France fluked him. Yeah, man, like, he's been fighting really good. At 39 years old, I think Tim Elliott's fluking abilities are way past him. So I'm just gonna, like, pray that Steve Erceg can get it done and doesn't get fluked. Give me Steve Erceg by decision, alright? Anything could happen. But Steve Erceg by decision is a safe pick here, alright? Next fight. Beneil Dariush versus Quilland Salkilld. Well. If it isn't Mr. Salkilld, fucking Pakistan's greatest warrior fighting against another minority. Yes, Dariush is brown. I think he's like Assyrian or some shit. Oh boy. Do I have to tell you how this fight goes? Or can you figure it out on your own? Like, let's be for real, alright? Let's, on some Dora shit. Let's say this on the count of 3. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Dariush gets slammed out. Yeah! Dariush is getting cooked, alright? Dariush is getting finished. Dariush is getting knocked out. Maybe even like knocked down and then submitted. I think Broski needs to retire. And it's just because his chin, it's just way gone. Getting put out by Beneil Dariush with a left hook or right hook in like 30 seconds is nasty work. It can't go on like this, alright? It can't go on like this, alright? It would be crazy if Salkilld can get Dariush faster out there, like knock him out faster than BSD, but I just really doubt it, alright? Regardless, give me Salkilld via round 1 KO. Next fight, and for the main event, man, oh man, I've been split on this fight for so fucking long. Bro, in my mind, it's clear. If this fight goes to a decision, Jack is the winner. JDM, 100% is the winner. And if there's a finish, it's going to be Carlos Prates finishing JDM 80% of the time. 80-90% of the time. Now, the question always stands against when you're fighting these power punches, like low output power punches like Pereira, like, who else? Fucking Derek Lewis, I guess. Can JDM be perfect for 5 rounds? Can JDM avoid? Does he have good striking defense? Is he gonna be able to mix up the wrestling? Or is he gonna just strike? And whatever he chooses to do, will his defense hold up for 5 rounds? I feel like if JDM mixes in the wrestling, it's gonna like really surprise the Fighting Nerds camp and Protest, and he's actually gonna be like have a way better time because the whole game plan is probably gonna be thrown out the window. I don't think Protest expects any wrestling unless it's like after hurting JDM, JDM wrestles, whatever. But hey man, like I just really don't think, like, asking JDM to mix in wrestling against another striker, probably with, like, the pride he has, is like asking Ryan Hall to box or asking fucking Tai Tuivasa to get on a diet. Like, that shit's just impossible. It's not gonna happen. I can see, like, in my mind's eye, JDM getting rocked and his chin getting tested, but my predictive powers run out. After that, like, I see in my head JDM getting rocked, and then I don't know what happens. It's just gone from there. I have no idea what happens after. Like playing this fight in my head, usually I can tell, or, you know, I have some idea of how the fight will play out. I see a finish. I see, like, you know, this guy's gonna get kneed. It's gonna be like a liver shot. Like, I have some idea. With this fight, I really don't know. This is like a real AI generated matchup. I don't know. I can't imagine how this fight goes. So I'm gonna get, you know, when your brain fails you, you gotta go with your heart. You gotta go with your corazón. Give me JDM by decision, all right? We will live and die by JDM here. This fight, if Prates knocks out JDM, Prates is knocking us out. Yes, we are getting slimed out by Prates, all right? Let's hope that doesn't happen. It's just a really hard fight. I need you guys' help on this one, deadass. On topology, I think I put JDM by decision, which is what I think here as well, but I don't know. The odds are going to be super close. I wouldn't be surprised if the odds are just completely dead even, all right? Great matchup. The UFC definitely cooked with this one. I think I made it. Shout out to me. One of my first videos on the channel that I've made since I started uploading again. I match made the welterweight division, and this was one of the fights I made. So shout out to me, guys. You're welcome for this matchup. JDM versus Prates. Let me know how this goes, all right? Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think of UFC Fight Night Perth? This is low-key like like I said, a really underrated card. And I think it's going to deliver, guys. What do you think of the main event? Can Jack get it done by decision, or will he finish Prates, or will he get slammed out brutally, all right? Let me know down below. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go to my fucking physiotherapist or some shit, all right? Ciao.